Ford and Toyota have been going toe-to-toe for decades, but 2025 might be their most competitive SUV lineup yet. From everyday crossovers to serious off-road rigs, we're breaking down which brand really earns a spot in your garage this year. Hello everyone, this is Scott from CarlandTV. It's time to hop in the front seat because today, I'm putting Ford and Toyota head-to-head to see which SUV lineup delivers the most bang for your buck and the fewest headaches behind the wheel. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below, the subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now, buckle up, and let's get back to the video. I've been around long enough to watch both Ford and Toyota evolve, and if you know the SUV game, their strategies couldn't be more different. Toyota's been playing the long game, which is obvious by the brand's focus on consistency, long-term value, and hybrid dominance. You buy a Toyota because you want your vehicle to run like clockwork for 300,000 miles, not because it makes your pulse jump. That's their ace, reliability. You look at the RAV4, Highlander, even the Grand Highlander. They're built to be painless. Add Toyota's lead in hybrid tech and resale value, and you've got a brand that plays chess, not checkers. Now, let's flip with the Ford. They're coming at it from the other side. Their lineup leans into power, presence, and that American grit. The Bronco isn't just a nameplate, it's a statement. The Explorer's rear-wheel-based platform gives it an edge in driving dynamics. Ford's play is about capability and performance wrapped in bold design. But yeah, in terms of long-term reliability, I am quite confident that's still Toyota's stronghold. It's like comparing a tactical toolbox to a precision instrument. Depends on what you're after. And with that context laid out, let's move into the compact segment, as this is the area where I can really set the tone for the two brands. I've spent solid time behind the wheel of both the 2025 RAV4 and the refreshed Ford Escape, and I'll tell you right now that they represent two very different philosophies on what a compact SUV should be. The RAV4 feels like a reliable tool. It's not flashy, but it delivers. Toyota kept the formula steady, a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine pushing 203 horsepower, with available hybrid and plug-in hybrid variants if you want more efficiency or zip. It's got a rugged look, but make no mistake, this thing's tuned for daily driving, not trail busting. Then you've got the Escape. Ford gives you choices, which I do respect. The base turbocharged 1.5-liter EcoBoost engine puts out 180 horsepower, while the 2.0L version jumps to 250 horsepower. That's a big spread. The hybrid models are surprisingly refined too, and Ford's interior layout is cleaner than people give it credit for. But long-term reliability, that's where the Escape's reputation still lags. Both offer optional all-wheel drive, roomy cabins, and solid tech, though Toyota's infotainment tends to feel more intuitive out of the gate. The RAV4 has a stronger resale value and better EPA-estimated fuel economy. But if you want a compact SUV that moves quicker and feels more energetic, the Escape's got the edge. Now, if you're thinking a little bigger, the battle gets even more interesting when we step into the midsize territory, with the Highlander squaring off against the Edge and the Explorer. You really start seeing the brand DNA come through when you climb into the midsize class. The 2025 Toyota Highlander keeps things tight and refined. Whether you're looking at the standard 2.4L turbo engine or the hybrid setup, what you're getting is an SUV built for efficiency, smooth family hauls, and long-term dependability. Toyota even brought out the Grand Highlander for folks who need more third-row room without jumping to a Sequoia. The regular Highlander. It's got just enough space for 5 adults and 2 kids, solid safety features, and an interior that feels familiar in a good way. Nothing fancy, but it all works. Ford's midsize game splits two ways, the Edge and the Explorer. The Edge is starting to show its age, especially since Ford is phasing it out of the US after 2025. It's still a solid ride, and the ST version with the 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 is quick, no doubt, but its interior tech and fuel economy fall short of Toyota's newer design. Now the Explorer? It's the more serious competitor. With rear-wheel drive underpinnings, optional 3-liter twin-turbo V6 power, and a spacious cabin, the Explorer leans more toward performance and utility. You feel the weight and power when you drive it. Between these three, the Highlander still feels like the safest all-around pick. But if you want power and rear-wheel dynamics, the Explorer is more rewarding behind the wheel. Let's shift gears now and talk about adventure rigs, because that's where the personality really comes out. The 4Runner and the Bronco. Two names, and both are considered legendary on the roads. The 2025 Toyota 4Runner and the Ford Bronco aren't just SUVs, they're icons with decades of dirt under their tires. I've wheeled both, and while they're built for similar terrain, they approach it like two different breeds of dog. The 4Runner feels like a damn tank, still rocking a body-on-frame setup, solid rear axle, and a naturally aspirated 4-liter V6 that's been around longer than some of your nephews. It's slow, it guzzles gas, but damn if it doesn't crawl over rocks like a mountain goat. It's got that old-school reliability, and if you're someone who spends weekends at trailheads or towing dirt bikes, the 4Runner won't flinch. But Ford came swinging hard with the Bronco. The 2025 Bronco still feels fresh, and depending on the trim, it gives you legit trail-focused hardware. I'm talking about front and rear locking differentials, disconnecting the sway bar, available 35-inch tires, and even a manual transmission if you're into that. The 2.3L EcoBoost is solid, but the 2.7-liter V6 gives you real muscle. It's more comfortable on-road than the 4Runner and more customizable off-road, with factory options that feel like aftermarket. Truth is, the 4Runner's starting to feel dated tech-wise, while the Bronco's loaded with the stuff younger off-roaders want. If Toyota doesn't update that platform soon, Ford's going to keep chewing away at that base. But while we're talking high-trim features, let's cruise over to the luxury side. You see, Toyota and Ford don't just battle it out in the mainstream lanes. They've got their foot in the luxury game too. Lexus and Lincoln are built to chase buyers who want upscale comfort without diving into German price tags. I've been in both lineups recently, and let me tell you, the gap's a lot closer than folks think. Start with Lexus. The 2025 NX and RX are polished. The NX 350, for example, gives you 275 horsepower from a turbocharged 2.4-liter and a cabin that punches above its price. Clean layout, upscale materials, and one of the quietest rides you'll find under $55,000. Go RX and you're in midsize luxury, with available hybrid powertrains and a buttery smooth driving experience. Lexus might not be thrilling, but it wins with quality, longevity, and refinement that you'll feel every day. Lincoln plays a different hand. The 2025 Corsair and Nautilus come dressed to impress. The Nautilus, especially with its 48-inch display running across the dash, feels like it was made to wow at the valet. And Ford's tuning finally caught up to give Lincoln models a smoother, more confident ride quality. But Lincoln's long-term resale and reliability are still trailing Lexus by a few steps. If comfort, tech flash, and ride quality are your top priorities, Lincoln's making a real case. But if you care about residual value, bulletproof reliability, and quiet confidence, Lexus holds the crown. That said, both these brands are stepping up with electrified options too. Here's where things get really interesting, because Toyota and Ford aren't just fighting over gas-powered buyers anymore. They're neck-deep in the hybrid and EV war, and if you've been paying attention, you know both have stacked their decks. Toyota's been dominating the hybrid scene since the Prius rolled out in the late 90s, and in 2025, that legacy still matters. I've driven the RAV4 Hybrid and the Grand Highlander Hybrid this year, and man, Toyota's nailed the blend of performance and efficiency. The RAV4 Hybrid gets up to 41 miles per gallon in the city, while the Grand Highlander Hybrid Max puts down 362 horsepower and still pulls 27 miles per gallon combined. And the best part? These aren't plug-ins. They just work. Now, Ford's not slouching. The 2025 Escape Hybrid is a smooth commuter, and the Maverick Hybrid truck has been a game-changer for budget-conscious buyers wanting real utility with city-friendly fuel economy. And if you're looking at plug-ins and EVs, the Mustang Mach-E still stands strong in the electric SUV space, especially in GT trim, with 480 horsepower and a legit driving feel. Toyota's BZ4X, though, I drove it, and I'll be honest, it still feels like a first draft compared to Ford's more developed EV tech. Bottom line, Toyota runs the hybrid market, no contest, but Ford's got more bite on the all-electric front. Either way, we're seeing both brands push hard to own the future. Now, owning a vehicle is one thing, but keeping it running, year after year, that's where ownership costs and resale start to tip the scales. Of course, you can tell a lot about a car maker by how well their vehicles hold up, not just on the road, but in your wallet. I've been buying, flipping, and helping friends shop for cars long enough to know this. Toyota wins the long game. Their resale values are top tier year after year. Just take a look at used RAV4S or 4Runners. Even a 5-year-old model with 100,000 miles still pulls strong money on the used market. It's not just brand loyalty, it's predictability. Maintenance costs are lower, parts are cheap and everywhere, and Toyota's reliability means fewer surprise repairs down the road. Ford's a mixed bag here. Some models, like the Bronco and Maverick, are doing great in the resale department thanks to demand. But others, like the Explorer or Edge, depreciate quicker and can be more expensive to maintain once you cross that 5-year mark. I've seen friends run into pricey fixes on turbocharged Ford engines once they're out of warranty. Things like coolant leaks or transmission quirks that don't always show up early on. Insurance tends to be lower on Toyotas too, especially with their top safety ratings. Ford's newer tech packages are nice but can drive up repair bills if something goes wrong. In the end, if you're looking to maximize value and minimize risk over 5 to 7 years of ownership, Toyota's still the safer bet. Looking at this matchup top to bottom, I'll call it how I see it. Toyota takes the win in 2025, but Ford doesn't walk away empty-handed. Toyota's lineup is simply more complete, especially if you're playing the long game. Whether it's the RAV4 dominating compact sales, the Highlander being the safest midsize bet, or the unbeatable reputation of the 4Runner, Toyota's built a family of SUVs that are reliable, fuel-efficient, and easy to own. Their hybrid game is years ahead of Ford's, and when you factor in resale value and maintenance costs, it's clear Toyota delivers more consistency for the average buyer. But Ford's got strong cards in the deck too. The Bronco is hands down the more capable and modern off-roader compared to the 4Runner. The Explorer offers better performance and driving dynamics than the Highlander if you value muscle and rear-drive handling. And Ford's EV and plug-in lineup feels more confident right now, with the Mach-E leading the charge. Still, when you average it all out, daily livability, long-term costs, resale, drivetrain options, and brand trust, Toyota simply has the better SUV roster in 2025. It's not the flashiest choice, but it's the one more people are going to feel good about 5, 10 years down the road. Ford fans, don't take it personal. This one was just a tough hill to climb.